Kia ora. New Zealanders and visitors just love to get into the outdoors.
Our rivers are awesome. People have fun in, on and around our rivers, but we need to be river safe. I'm Claire.
Hey, I'm Mark, and we'll demonstrate some ways to be river safe while enjoying our rivers.
Many of the tracks we use to get to our mountains follow riverbanks and sometimes river gorges. On some more popular tracks there are swing bridges or cableways, but often it is necessary to cross and recross rivers.
Crossing a river requires skill and judgment. Never take a river crossing lightly. The risks are just too great.
It is not only those who are new to the outdoors that get themselves into trouble. Experienced and skilled people have drowned when their desire to cross the river has influenced their decision making. Whenever possible, plan to use bridges or cableways to cross rivers.
Making mistakes crossing rivers often has serious consequences. There are, on average, about 4 river crossing drownings each year. Many of these drownings occur in flooded rivers, but people also get into trouble crossing side streams. If there is significant rain in a large catchment area, the water level in side streams can rise dramatically and quickly. If there was a lot more rain in the catchment area, these trampers would not be able to cross this side stream.
Don't take a risk. Check out the crossing site and be river safe. If there is any doubt about the safety of the crossing, stay out.
You never have to cross a river. It's better to turn back than die trying to cross the river. If in doubt, stay out of the river.
Hey, if we go over there, we'll be right at the hut.
We need to check the river out first. Let's take our packs off and wait for the others to show up. Okay, Tom, Tony, let's have a look at this river, see if we can get a good place to cross. Over here, we've got a rapid coming into a pool, fairly deep, not a bad current, but it'll be very deep, very difficult to cross, so we won't go there. And down here we have rapids, so it'll be fairly shallow, fast moving, not very good exit points, basically not a very good place to actually cross the river. Down here we have boulders, speed and rapids. We're definitely not crossing over there.
Oh, Phil, this doesn't look too good.
Got white water over here, can't see the bottom, speed, greasy rocks, not a good exit, and the outrun, you're going to hit rocks.
Guess we won't be crossing here then.
Okay, here we've got good speed, good depth, good entry, good exit. We can see the bottom of the river, colour's great, depth shouldn't be too bad. Okay guys, we're just going to check out the speed. We're going to throw the stick in, we're going to walk beside it. If this stick goes faster than we do, we don't cross. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, Tony, Tom, you happy with that?
Yep, sweet.
Yep.
Awesome. Let's build a can.
Gee, you're back quick. Yeah. There's a bit not too far from here we can cross. Great.
forget. Let's check our stuff. Okay. Guys, remember to tie up your shoelaces. Hey Adrian, are you okay with your glasses? Do you want to wear them or do you want to take them off?
I'll take them off.
Just remember to take your hats off, guys. You don't want to lose them and you don't want them covering up your face as well. Oh, if you're wearing watches, take them off. You don't want to get them snagged either. Hey Connor, do you want to tighten up your gaiters as well? You don't want any shingles in them?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
I'll do that now.
Cool, thanks. If you got gaiters on, do the same as well.
This group is well prepared. Everybody is wearing boots, they are wearing thermal tops, shorts with thermal bottoms, or tight-fitting longs. No one is wearing loose or baggy longs that may create drag on the legs. No one is wearing cotton t-shirts or tops that would take a long time to dry if they get wet.
Okay guys, get your pack sorted out. Pack liners, if you're not sure how to do it, watch me. Roll it up. Take it right down. You don't want to get any of your gear wet when we go across the river. Beard rolls need to be on top of the packs, especially yours, Tom. Everyone else. And make sure your straps are done up tightly. We want to make sure nothing gets caught when we're crossing the river. Packs on. Hey guys, there's a can of rocks there, which we marked up earlier. That's going to be an entry point for the crossing. Going across, and an exit point will be over there. Okay, the flow is pretty good, and the depth should be about our knees, slightly deeper. Exit point, overrun. There's a couple of small places to pop out over there. We want to stay out of the rapids, definitely out of the rapids. Okay. Okay, guys. These sticks represent the banks of the river. We've got our flow coming down here, which you can see by the river beside us. This represents our group of people going across. Need to stay parallel to the flow of the river, come across, and the force of the river is going to push it down to the exit point, which is just over here. Everyone happy with that? Okay, Brianna, can you take your group and get them ready to enter up by the can?
Yep.
And get them ready to go in the water, and I'll watch you go across first. Yep. Go on.
Okay, we're going to get ourselves into line. Tom, you're going to be upstream. Myself is going to be second, so move over to there now. Okay, you will be downstream. Chris, you are our smallest person, so you will be on the other side of Alex. Alex, you'll be moved over to Sebastian. Seb. Yep. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to undo our chest straps. Also make sure your waist ones are they're easy to clip off as well. Okay, so put them back together. Make sure that these straps here are loose so that the person can put their arms through them. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do now is that we're going to link up. So pop your arms through the side of the bags. Yep. I'll just put my stuff in here. Yep. Okay. Oh. Oh. Everyone comfortable?
Yep.
Everyone's
Yep.
got straps? Yep. Okay. No, before we go anywhere. Alright. On the count of 3, you guys are going to let go of each other's straps. 1, 2, 3. Okay. What we're going to do now is that we're going to go and get a bit of water and splash it on our face so that we don't get a shock from the cold water, okay?
If you fall into cold water, The shock can mean that you inhale quickly and suck water into your lungs. A good tip: splashing your face with cold water prepares your body so this should not happen.
Okay guys, let's get ready to go. Okay, so we need to get your jacket rolled up. Okay, so roll up and tuck it into your buckle. The reason why we do that is so when you get in the river, water comes up too high, it doesn't put the jacket over your buckle so you can't get your buckle off in an emergency. You need to get your fleece tucked into your pants, same scenario, under your belt buckle, get it tucked in, ready to go. Undo your chest belts, loosen off your straps. Two guys need to undo your chest straps as well. Cool. Thank you, Adrian. Connor, come here. We'll show the rest of people how to do these handholds. Okay, arm through, back, and he grabs hold of the bottom of my hip strap. Do the same with him. You'll notice how we're really close together, mutually supported, and that's the whole idea of this grip. He's got another grip here as well. If your arm's a bit shorter, you've still got a fairly good grip. Okay, third option, shoulder strap. Only problem with this hold here, if you've got long arms, is you're not mutually supported. So not the best practice. Go, small steps. Okay, go, small steps. Watch me go, watch your steps. Okay. Right, okay. Going up, small steps. Okay. Cool. Forward. Well, slowly. Downstream a little bit. Downstream a little bit. Cross. Okay. There we go. Downstream. One rock in front of me. Stop. Downstream a little bit. Downstream. Some more.
Big rock.
Big rock.
Big rock.
Okay. Downstream.
Faces up, guys.
Okay. Right, forward.
That's all.
Small steps. Okay, there we go.
Awesome.
Everyone okay?
I love rivers.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Sometimes a river crossing does not go to plan. When something goes wrong, the group needs to make the decision to stop crossing as soon as possible. Stop the crossing if the water becomes too deep or if the water flow becomes very fast.
The group needs to stay connected and back out of the river. They should reverse out until they are in safe water then turn round and get out of the river. In some situations, it may be safer for a group to back the whole way out.
It is not uncommon for hunters to hunt alone. They need to cross rivers safely. This hunter has decided that this is the safest place to cross this river. The hunter puts the pole into the riverbed, upstream from his feet. The pole is planted into the riverbed to support him whenever he moves a leg forward. He has the pole diagonally across his body and uses the pole as a third leg, so he always has 2 points of contact with the riverbed at any time. If the hunter realised the crossing was not safe, he would back out to a safe part of the river and then turn around. As it is raining heavily, this hunter has investigated a number of sites for his river crossing and selected the safest site. He has assessed the depth of the water, the speed of the water flow and the colour of the water. He has checked that no boulders or debris are flowing down the river. He is seen to be cautious, particularly in where he places the pole. Sometimes river crossings go wrong. People can end up in the water when something unexpected happens.
Someone crossing the river could lose their footing by stepping into a hole or onto slippery or loose rocks. The force of the water could make someone fall. Someone could step onto an unstable bank. Someone could become detached from the group.
If you end up in the river, you need to know what to do to get yourself out of the river. You flip onto your back. Use your pack as a life jacket or buoyancy device. Look for the run-out area. When you see the run-out area, angle your body towards it and use your arms as oars to scull or move you into the calmer area of the river. Use the current to drive you into safe water. You will need to work hard to cross the eddy line. The area beyond the eddy line is a place of calmer water where you can swim or move yourself out of the current to the riverbank. If you are going down a fast-flowing river with lots of boulders, you should go head first so that your pack protects your body against crashing into rocks. If you are going down a sheltered, slow-moving river, you may choose to go feet first. If you get out of the water wearing your pack, you may fall back into the river as the pack is wet and very heavy. Release your hip belt. Grasp one shoulder strap, then stand up and face your pack. Walk the pack ahead of you up the bank.
Once you have been in the water, you will be cold. A person who is wet and cold is at risk of getting hypothermia. If a group does not recognise that a person is developing hypothermia, then the situation can become very serious and the person can die. The person needs to be helped into dry, warm clothes and warmed up.
Does anyone fancy a walk down to the waterfall?
Oh, can I go?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I'm keen.
Let's go. Not so fast. It might be a short walk, but we still need to do some planning. So what do we need to take with us?
A compass?
Compass?
A map?
A map?
A PLB?
A PLB?
Water?
Everyone's got to take water with them.
A torch? And a radio?
And a radio as well. Okay, that's cool. We also need to take some warm clothing and sun hats as well. So this is the group pack. Time to do our individual pack.
Great day. Shame about the weather though.
It was still cool.
Yeah, what do we have tomorrow?
We're going up the river tomorrow through the narrow gorge. Got no more river crossings, however, but we've still got some awesome swing bridges to cross.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Hey Alex, this looks like a really good spot to cross. The water level's not so high.
Sweet.
Because day packs do not provide proper support, the group leader Poriana and Alex are using the clothing grasp method to mutually support each other during the river crossing. They have a firm grasp on the waistband of each other's pants. The pants may need to be pulled up to be able to grasp the waistband. They are talking to each other as they cross. This is the way for small groups of people like fly fishers and day trampers to cross a river. There are generally three groups of river users. The first group are people who are on the water in craft like kayaks, rafts, waka, canoes or even tubing. The second group are people who intend to be in the water, like swimmers or fishermen, and trampers, hunters who cross a river. There are people who accidentally end up in the river as a result of falling in or being swept downstream when crossing the river. Kayakers and paddlers are on top of the water and can move quickly and change direction easily. Swimmers are in the water and are controlled by the flow and force of the river. I'm Mark. In order to be river safe, we need to understand how rivers work. A river can change every day. So before we begin an activity, we need to assess the river. Recognising and understanding the sorts of features we find in a river allows us to make decisions about whether it's safe to do the activities we planned. This protruding rock creates a number of hazards. As the water goes around the rock, it speeds up and creates a deeper zone around the front and along the sides of the rock. Some of the water becomes aerated whitewater. Aerated water is not very buoyant, so it does not support a swimmer as well as normal river water. On the downstream side behind the rock, the water is calmer, making a zone called an eddy. In the eddy, the water flows in a reverse direction to the river, providing a calmer area of water. The calmer water is often used by kayakers and river swimmers to have a rest. The eddy fence or eddy line is the line between the two directions of flow of the water. This is indicated by quite a distinct line of white water. To cross the eddy line requires some effort. Kayakers do this with ease, while swimmers need to swim hard to get across the eddy line. A rock under the surface of the river is causing a disturbance to the flow of the water. As the river plunges down behind the large rock, it creates a recirculating wave that could trap swimmers or kayakers against the rock. A recirculating wave is where the water constantly flows back over itself. A buoyant object like a person can be held in this reverse flow. A person can be held because of the lack of buoyancy from the aerated water and by the force of the recirculating wave. Recirculating waves are formed immediately downstream of large objects like rocks. Recirculating waves are created when the downstream drop in the water level is of significant size. A person will be rolled around in the direction of the wave. Buffer waves are formed when the river flows into an obstacle. The buffer wave is upstream of the obstacle. The more water hitting the obstacle, the bigger the buffer wave. A wave is formed downstream of a submerged obstacle like a rock, or downstream from where a river narrows abruptly. Depending on the size of the obstacle or rock, there is usually more than one of these waves. They are called standing waves. Waves can break over swimmers, pushing them under the surface. The wave may be breaking or smooth, and it stays at the same place in the river. Rapids are stretches of water where the water flow has been disrupted and becomes turbulent. Rapids can be small as seen here, or can be areas of enormous whitewater. The size and turbulence of a rapid depends on the steepness of the river, the number and size of objects like rocks that block the flow of water, and the volume of water flowing down the river. Swimmers can be injured when they are pushed against rocks by the current or the flow of the water. The white water in the rapids is aerated or full of air bubbles, and this is not very buoyant. Aerated water does not support a swimmer as well as normal water. Rivers can fall in height quite quickly when the water flows over waterfalls. Waterfalls can be difficult to see from upstream, but they can be easier to hear than other hazards. Many waterfalls have a strong recirculating wave at their base with an area of aerated water. People can get trapped at the base of a waterfall and drown. An obstacle is an object that stands in the flow of the river, forcing the water to flow around it. Obstacles can be man-made constructions like these bridge supports, or things like boulders, tree trunks, and projecting land masses like bluffs. Swimmers and paddlers can be pushed or carried into obstacles by the flow of the water. They can be injured by the force of the collision with the obstacle. Obstacle-like rocks can be undercut where the water flows downwards under the obstacle. Swimmers dragged under an undercut obstacle can be trapped under the surface. A strainer is an obstacle in the river that allows water to flow through it, but stops larger solid objects, like people. Strainers are typically tree branches or roots held in the river across the current. Fences, construction debris like reinforced steel mesh, and collections of boulders. Strainers may be visible or fully submerged. Swimmers and paddlers can get trapped against strainers by the force of the river flow. They cannot get free and may drown. Even a gentle river flow can create a force too strong for people to escape from. Strainers are very dangerous for swimmers. Someone swimming down this river would see the rock obstacle, but may not see the submerged strainer. If the river level was higher, this branch would act as a strainer. The force of the water flowing down a river constantly erodes or wears away its banks. Banks where the force of the water is wearing away land at water level become undercut or unstable. These banks look stable to people walking on them, but they may be ready to collapse. An unstable or undercut bank can also collapse if a swimmer tries to climb out of the river. Man-made features like dams and weirs are particularly dangerous as they span the full width of the river or waterway. There is no opportunity to move away from them. This man-made weir shows a strong recirculating wave. You are likely to die if you get trapped in recirculating waves of this size or bigger. Do not swim, kayak or cross a river near a weir or a dam. The discoloration of the water shows that the side stream is quite fast flowing. This side stream rises quickly and falls quickly. If heavy rain has fallen in the catchment area, trampers cannot safely cross the side stream. Looking at the shingle areas, you can see that this river can flow a lot higher than it is at the moment. People using the river in the rain would want to know how big the catchment area is and how quickly the river rises after rain. River bends can present hazards for river users like kayakers. There is a wide shallow rapid ending in a sharp bend. There are large rocks in the river flow and a deep pool beyond. An experienced river user can use indicators like these to work out the current flow of the river compared to its normal flow. This protruding rock creates a number of hazards. As the water goes around the rock, it speeds up and creates a deeper zone around the front and along the sides of the rock. Some of the water becomes aerated white water. Aerated water is not very buoyant, so it does not support a swimmer as well as normal river water. On the downstream side behind the rock, the water is calmer, making a zone called an eddy. In the eddy, the water flows in a reverse direction to the river, providing a calmer area of water. The calmer water is often used by kayakers and river swimmers to have a rest. The eddy fence or eddy line is the line between the two directions of flow of the water. This is indicated by quite a distinct line of white water. To cross the eddy line requires some effort. Kayakers do this with ease, while swimmers need to swim hard to get across the eddy line. A rock under the surface of the river is causing a disturbance to the flow of the water. As the river plunges down behind the large rock, it creates a recirculating wave that could trap swimmers or kayakers against the rock. A recirculating wave is where the water constantly flows back over itself. A buoyant object like a person can be held in this reverse flow. A person can be held because of the lack of buoyancy from the aerated water and by the force of the recirculating wave. Recirculating waves are formed immediately downstream of large objects like rocks. Recirculating waves are created when the downstream drop in the water level is of significant size. A person will be rolled around in the direction of the wave. Buffer waves are formed when the river flows into an obstacle. The buffer wave is upstream of the obstacle. The more water hitting the obstacle, the bigger the buffer wave. A wave is formed downstream of a submerged obstacle like a rock, or downstream from where a river narrows abruptly. Depending on the size of the obstacle or rock, there is usually more than one of these waves. They are called standing waves. Waves can break over swimmers, pushing them under the surface. The wave may be breaking or smooth, and it stays at the same place in the river. Rapids are stretches of water where the water flow has been disrupted and becomes turbulent. Rapids can be small as seen here, or can be areas of enormous white water. The size and turbulence of a rapid depends on the steepness of the river, the number and size of objects like rocks that block the flow of water, and the volume of water flowing down the river. Swimmers can be injured when they are pushed against rocks by the current or the flow of the water. The white water in the rapids is aerated or full of air bubbles, and this is not very buoyant. Aerated water does not support a swimmer as well as normal water. Rivers can fall in height quite quickly when the water flows over waterfalls. Waterfalls can be difficult to see from upstream, but they can be easier to hear than other hazards. Many waterfalls have a strong recirculating wave at their base with an area of aerated water. People can get trapped at the base of a waterfall and drown. An obstacle is an object that stands in the flow of the river, forcing the water to flow around it. Obstacles can be man-made constructions like these bridge supports, or things like boulders, tree trunks, and projecting land masses like bluffs. Swimmers and paddlers can be pushed or carried into obstacles by the flow of the water. They can be injured by the force of the collision with the obstacle. Obstacle-like rocks can be undercut where the water flows downwards under the obstacle. Swimmers dragged under an undercut obstacle can be trapped under the surface. A strainer is an obstacle in the river that allows water to flow through it, but stops larger solid objects, like people. Strainers are typically tree branches or roots held in the river across the current. Fences, construction debris like reinforced steel mesh, and collections of boulders. Strainers may be visible or fully submerged. Swimmers and paddlers can get trapped against strainers by the force of the river flow. They cannot get free and may drown. Even a gentle river flow can create a force too strong for people to escape from. Strainers are very dangerous for swimmers. Someone swimming down this river would see the rock obstacle, but may not see the submerged strainer. If the river level was higher, this branch would act as a strainer. The force of the water flowing down a river constantly erodes or wears away its banks. Banks where the force of the water is wearing away land at water level become undercut or unstable. These banks look stable to people walking on them, but they may be ready to collapse. An unstable or undercut bank can also collapse if a swimmer tries to climb out of the river. Man-made features like dams and weirs are particularly dangerous as they span the full width of the river or waterway. There is no opportunity to move away from them. This man-made weir shows a strong recirculating wave. You are likely to die if you get trapped in recirculating waves of this size or bigger. Do not swim, kayak or cross a river near a weir or a dam. The discoloration of the water shows that the side stream is quite fast flowing. This side stream rises quickly and falls quickly. If heavy rain has fallen in the catchment area, trampers cannot safely cross the side stream. Looking at the shingle areas, you can see that this river can flow a lot higher than it is at the moment. People using the river in the rain would want to know how big the catchment area is and how quickly the river rises after rain. River bends can present hazards for river users like kayakers. There is a wide shallow rapid ending in a sharp bend. There are large rocks in the river flow and a deep pool beyond. An experienced river user can use indicators like these to work out the current flow of the river compared to its normal flow.
Our rivers are awesome. People have fun in, on and around our rivers, but we need to be river safe. We love to do things like kayak, raft or swim in rivers. However, sometimes the unexpected happens and we end up being swept down a river in fast-moving water. We need to know what to do to get out of the river safely.
We need to learn survival swimming. I'm going to work with a group of students from Paraparaumu College and their teacher, Bridget Jantz, as they learn and practice their survival swimming.
Bridget and her students are well prepared for their survival swimming experience. They are competent swimmers, they have swum in river swimming holes and are confident in cold river water. They can recognise river features and have practiced their survival swimming in a swimming pool. Bridget chooses to work with a person who knows the river well and is experienced at teaching people to survival swim. On this occasion, that person is Mark.
Oh,
Hey,
hi.
Bridget.
How are you? Is everything all right?
Yep.
Okay, folks, just want to introduce Mark and Nigel, and they're going to be working with us today as we go through and learn and put into practice our survival swimming. All right, now they're experts in river safety, so they'll help keep us safe. But let's just introduce ourselves so they know who everybody is.
Hi, I'm Alex.
Hey, I'm Vance.
Hey, I'm Jade.
Hey, I'm Zach.
Hey, I'm Rob.
Hi, I'm Ashley.
Hey, I'm Sophie.
And I'm Georgie.
And I'm Alex.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Mark and I'm pleased to be here with you all today as we go through and learn our survival swimming. So we're just going to check out the river, see if it's all safe, and then we're going to get into it.
Hi, I'm Nigel. I'm safety officer for today. We'll get a full briefing when we get down to the river.
Cool. So first up, we need to consider if this is a safe spot for us to do our survival swimming activity today. Remember, survival swimming is about being in moving water and then finding your way back to the bank.
Okay, so thinking back to what we learnt in the classroom about identifying river hazards and river features, thinking about what we can see here today, what are some things we want to consider and look for before we actually go in and do our activity of the survival swimming?
Safe entry and exit points.
What do you mean by that?
Easy to get in and easy to get out.
What else do we want to think about?
How fast the river's flowing,
How can we tell? What's something we might use to indicate that?
the colour of the water, or if there's any boulders or rocks moving.
Maybe the depth of the water, it can also be a hazard.
Okay, anything else?
Rapids.
All right, rapid, so where water's moving, creating white water, which is aerated and not very buoyant. What else?
Hidden obstacles,
Okay, such as what?
like rocks or submerged logs.
Branches sticking out.
Okay, so strainers, things that let water pass through but not people or objects.
Undercut banks.
Underpulls at the end of the rapid.
All right, so where water flows over an obstacle and rolls back on itself, creating a hole. Excellent. So just as we head down towards the area we're going to go, I want you to start having a look for those features, and let's see if we can pick a safe site to do our survival swimming.
Okay, so before we get into the river, we're just going to go over our survival swimming position. Anyone want to help me out?
Yep.
Come on, Zach. You lead us through.
Alrighty. So we're going to have our feet facing downstream,
Yep.
sort of at a 45-degree angle,
Cool.
and it's going to be like we're sitting in a go-kart.
Nice.
Good. So let's think about the advantages of actually being in this position when we're survival swimming. Why do we want to be like this?
You can use your feet to fend off obstacles.
Good.
So that you can see down the river.
Right. Anything else?
Oh, and that means that your arms are free, so you can help steer and propel yourself.
So we can use our arms to help us go to where we want to be.
Okay, everyone, come and have a go. Everyone set?
Yep.
It's okay? Yeah. Let's have a look. Okay, team, I think that looks great. We're good to go. Let's go and get changed.
Hey Mark,
Yeah, Rob.
now that I've seen what I have to do, I'd rather not swim due to my sore shoulder.
Okay, mate. I think that's actually a really good decision. You think you're going to aggravate it, so let's head on down to the warm zone. Yeah?
Yep.
Good stuff.
Hi team, we're now going to have our safety briefing for today's survival swimming exercise. For our purposes today, we're going to be running 3 zones. A cold zone, which is an area where we don't have to be wearing the equipment that we're currently wearing. A warm zone that will allow where you must be wearing your equipment as we are now, and the hot zone, which is the area that you're wearing your equipment in the water itself, you're going to get wet. Typically the warm zone is about 3 meters from the water's edge, so we know what's going on as far as that's concerned. During the exercise, we'll be going through and doing a survival swim. We will enter the river to my left, and then we'll come out on the river to my right over here. If you miss the exit point, don't worry, float down a bit further, and there's a second exit point just a wee bit further down. Okay, if you get into trouble while you're in the water, a throw bag like this may be thrown at you once we've got your attention. Please grab it and you'll be reined into the shore closest to you. Okay, a few things about communication around rivers. If I ask you or make eye contact with you and ask you, are you okay? If you respond with your hand going on top of your head, you are okay. Any other response, you're in trouble and we'll apply rescue techniques to you. Is everybody okay with that? If we need to get your attention or you need to get our attention, you are all carrying a whistle. For us to get your attention, we blow it once. And for you to get our attention, you blow it once as well.
Reminder that the first aid kit is just up there, and if you're not feeling so well or you're starting to get cold, you need to let one of us know. All right, now, before we go in, last little checks. Want to check that our PFD is on properly. How do we do that?
Oh, you get a buddy to check your PFD and try and pull it above your ears, and if it does lift above, then it's too loose, you need to tighten it.
Excellent. The other thing we want to check is that all our bootlaces are done up. So let's just do a buddy check, checking all the buckles are done up. All right, bootlaces are secure.
Yep.
So Mark's just checking. All right, before he goes in, he's going to give the signal. It's the place that we all agreed was safe to go. And so now we've got Nigel, our safety person. He's ready down there. Mark's ready. We give the signal. Okay, he's given the signal. Stepping in. So he's lost his footing. So now he's got his feet facing downstream, his arms out, and he's using his arms to help direct his body. Okay, the feet again downstream, ready to fend off any objects. And he's going to start using his arms. He's following the flow, using his arms in a sculling motion, try and make his way to the bank. Once he's close to the bank, he rolls over onto his front and starts swimming in. And we're going to show you what happens if he, for some reason, can't make his way out at the safe exit point. So Nigel's actually ready with the throw bag as our safety person. Okay, getting himself into the survival swimming position, feet downstream, using his arms to work his body. Keep his feet downstream, and then a sculling action under the water, help him get to where he wants to a safe exit. Put his arm up. Nigel responds by throwing the bag and then pulling Mark in.
Swimmers are in the water and are controlled by the flow and force of the river. Swimmers struggling in a river have only a short time to rescue themselves. They need to find an exit point and get out of the river quickly, because swimming in a river is rapidly using up their energy. Wear a PFD if you are in or on the river. If you end up in the river, the buoyancy the PFD provides will make it easier for you to float, conserve your energy, and swim to a safe exit point. A strainer is an obstacle in the river that allows water to flow through it but will trap a person. A strainer could be a log or a fence going across the river.
Okay, so Mark's now going to demonstrate swimming over the strainer, and he should never ever practice this because it's very, very dangerous. So Mark's going to show you what you should do, how to swim over it in case you're ever caught in this situation, okay?
We have set up the strainer as a demonstration. If you've been swept down into a strainer, the force of the water will slam you up against it and pull you under. You may not be able to get out of this position and you are likely to drown. My safety team have lifted the strainer to release me. I could not get free without their help. If you're being swept downstream and can't avoid the strainer, you need to plan what to do. As you approach the strainer, roll onto your front and swim aggressively, like really hard out. Try to get up over the strainer or up on top of the strainer. You need to use all your energy to get up and over, as if you get trapped, you will drown. This is dangerous. We're telling you about it because it could save your life, but it's not something you practice or even try out. It's just too dangerous.
Come on, I'm first.
Race you in then.
Wait up, let's check it out first.
Wow, look what I found. Lucky we didn't jump.
Come on, jump in. The water's cool.
Nah, I'm alright. It looks too cold.
Nah, it's not that cold. Just hop in.
I'll be okay here.
Come on, you wuss, it's fun.
Hey, leave him alone. He doesn't want to.
It's safe. You do know how to swim, don't you?
Yeah, but I've never been in the river before. All my bottoming's been in a pool.
What? You've never swum in a river before? Well, we'll help you with that.
We jump here all the time. Well, come on then. We'll take you to the swimming hole up the road.
You guys go on. I'm going to stay here and jump.
Nah, you know the rules. No one swims alone.
Come on, let's go. I'll text Mum on the way.
Kia ora, I'm Mark.
And I'm Claire. Swimming holes are great places to be in summer, but sadly they can also be places where young people and adults drown.
Swimming in a river is a lot different than swimming in the sea or in a pool. In a river, the water is colder and you don't float as easily as you do in the sea.
The force of the water flowing downstream often takes people by surprise and you can be swept off your feet.
No one further out than this point. It's quite deep here and the current's quite strong. So Paddy and Piazza, you watch out for each other, same as Bram and Rob. No one further out than where I was just standing. And look after your mate, and if you're in trouble, just raise your arm, okay?
Yep.
I'm good to supervise for the next 10 to 15 minutes. They'll probably be cold by then. If they want to carry on swimming, then you can take over, eh?
When children are under 5, supervision means being within sight and within reach of them. If there are a number of under 5s, then there needs to be plenty of adults watching them. It's too easy for one person to be distracted by one child and not see another one in difficulty. It takes less than a minute for someone to drown and it is very quiet. It's not just under 5s that need active supervision, within sight and touch. Anyone who cannot swim or is learning to swim needs to be actively supervised. Although we've got some older kids in the water, it's not a child's responsibility to supervise other children. In a river, the responsibility and the risks are just too great.
The kids know to watch out for their buddies, but they need adult supervision from in the water and on the bank. The person who's supervising needs to concentrate on watching the kids and not be distracted. The person in the water needs to be a strong swimmer. A non-swimmer or poor swimmer could supervise from the bank, but they must be able to give assistance if needed or alert someone who can.
Hey Carl, Lockie's had a fall. Do you mind watching the kids while I sort him out?
Remember, I'm not a good swimmer.
Well, maybe you can take Lockie and I'll stay and look after the kids.
Okay, come on Lockie.
Okay,
Come with me, mate.
Hey Dad, I want to go for a swim, but no one else is keen, so I'm just going to go in myself.
Oh no mate, you know the rules. No one swims alone.
Oh,
Yep. Let's go and play some touch instead.
okay.
Organising supervision and keeping people safe in river swimming holes doesn't have to be a big hassle, but it is important.
It's just a task to share amongst the adults to make sure everyone enjoys the day. And everyone in the water needs to do their bit. Have fun, stay safe.